The moment you've been waiting for. Yes, you've been asking me for it. Is he going to do it? Is he not? Oh, he's going to do it, and he's going to do it in great detail. My entire off-season plan, blueprint, breakdown, whatever you want to call it, of the 2025 off-season. There are timestamps below if you want to get specific with the things that you came here to see. We're going to talk about free agency, trades, the draft, every single need we have rosterized. We're going to hit them all. I'm also at the end of this video going to read a couple patron posts. I put a post out on my Patreon last night at the time of this recording, Monday, February 17th. And that post said, give me your off-season plan in any kind of detail that you want. I've got a couple of those that I'm going to read. If you want to join the Patreon, become a member of this channel on Patreon. Link is in the description below. You get to do things like that to contribute to my videos. You get exclusive content. You get ad-free content. You get videos days in advance. This is being recorded on Monday. It's either going to be up on Tuesday or Wednesday. I stayed up to the wee hours of Sunday night reading everything about cap breakdowns and guaranteed money, needs that we have, projected contracts of certain players, whether I would give them that, a little bit more, a little bit less. I have done my best to figure out the best path forward with the quarterback situation. You might think you know what I'm going to say in terms of the quarterback situation, but you could also be surprised. So like I said before, timestamps below on the timeline. If you want to skip around, be my guest. If not, we're going to be here for a ride, okay? So let's talk about exactly what I would do if I was John Spytek, Pete Carroll, and Tom Brady to get this team back to compete at a high level. My Raiders 2025 off-season plan. We're going to start with the homegrown talent, the people that we need to re-sign, contracts that we need to restructure. Now, as of right now, we have $93-ish million in cap space. There are ways to restructure certain contracts. You can cut people, you can trade people, you can push guaranteed money back a little bit to get more than that, and I assume we're going to do that. But let's pretend for the sake of the argument right now that we're working with $93 million. The first thing I would do is extend Maxx Crosby. Now, his original contract, 4 years, $94 million. That's $23.5 million guaranteed, with $26 million fully guaranteed. $53 million could be guaranteed with incentives. Okay? So what I would do to extend this contract, I'd give him 3 more years on that same deal, $85 million extension. That's $28 million per year. That's a $5 million per year raise after he just got a $5 million per year raise. So that's $10 million in total per year raised. I would fully guarantee the contract, but I would backload it. What does that mean? Well, if you play 2K and you can backload these contracts so you don't have to worry about paying all of it right now up front, you can go $15 million guaranteed right now, then $35 next year, and $35 the year after that. And because the quarterback situation with us will be, financially flexible, and because we have one of the younger rosters, we don't have to worry about paying Brock Bowers right now, or maybe a new rookie running back or a couple new rookie guards at the moment, we can fully guarantee Maxx Crosby's contract. 3 years, $85 million extension, $28 per year. I think that's completely fair. I think it's totally fair for Maxx to not want to play another down without getting more guaranteed money. And this is a way to give that to him while restructuring it to make sure we still have enough money here to spend. Now, if we get into the homegrown free agents that we have, and we have a lot, and I'm going to read off every single person here and my thoughts on whether or not I would keep them. After the extension of Maxx Crosby and taking away a little bit of money for the rookies that we're going to have to sign to rookie contracts, that leaves us with between $70 to $75 million to play around with. Now, if you go down the list of some of these guys here that I don't really see us bringing back, if we do, it'll be one of those veteran exemptions where we can bring them back for little to nothing, or they take another 1 year kind of vet minimum deal. Amir Abdullah, Harrison Bryant. Adam Butler's interesting. I considered maybe giving him a little bit of a biggie bag, but he's somebody who doesn't exactly jump off the page. He's a good player. People like him, but it's not somebody that I'm prioritizing bringing back. The first person here that I have a question mark around is K'Lavon Chaisson. He had 5 sacks at the end of the year. He did a lot of good things under Patrick Graham. The problem is I don't want to run into the Zamir White issue where he has a good end-of-the-year run, a great end-of-the-year run, and we go, well, now this guy's just going to be the starting running back moving forward. Now, the difference between Caleb and Zamir White is that we didn't have to give Zamir White another contract. We could just be like, okay, play on your 4th-round contract. With Caleb, you're going to have to pay him. Now, you can give him a 1-year deal, and maybe he'll take that, $5 million, $6 million. Even that might be a little bit much for me, but I understand you want to build up that defensive line. If somebody overpays for him, you got to let him walk. Same thing with Divine Diablo. I actually think Divine Diablo is pretty good. I know some people like him, some people hate him. He's kind of a polarizing player. Again, if he's willing to come back, not sort of on a hometown discount, but, the state of, I almost said Utah, because I'm looking at the beautiful Utah mountains outside my window. The state of Nevada has no state income tax. If you're going to get him on a reasonable deal, I wouldn't give him a 5-year, $100 million whatever. But I would try to keep him at a reasonable price. He's another question mark for me. If they let him walk, I wouldn't be super surprised or upset. I would be sad to see him go, but I wouldn't hate to watch him leave. Another question mark there. Not a priority. Marcus Epps, really good player. Getting to be a little long in the tooth safety-wise, and he's coming off a season-ending injury. I think his days are numbered as a Las Vegas Raider. I really liked what he did, but it's unfortunate that the injury happened when it did. Nate Hobbs, another question mark. Really good player, especially from where we found him in like the 5th round or something like that. The problem with him is that he's too injured. Again, if he's able to sign one of these 2-year deals, 2-year, $15 million, I would keep him. But again, with him and Marcus Epps, they just cannot stay on the field. So that's where I have another question mark around him. John Jenkins, I could take it or leave. Malcolm Kuntz is the first priority re-signing that I have. Now, there are some people that are saying he's going to get $20 million. There's some people that are saying he's going to get $13 million. Here's what I'd give Malcolm Kuntz, because I really loved what I saw at the end 2 seasons ago. And from all reports, from players and coaches, he was having an unbelievable offseason. And he rips his knee out, and he loses a chance to sign a big contract with this prove-it deal. Now, maybe in the long run, and I hate saying this because I never want somebody to be injured, it kind of helped us financially to be able to pay him what he should be valued rather than what he would have been valued if he had a 10-sack season. Malcolm Kuntz, 2 years, $30 million, $15 million guaranteed. That's a big pay raise from your 3rd round or 4th round or 5th round contract, whatever you have. Maybe you can get more out there. But with Patrick Graham still here and Christian Wilkins and Maxx Crosby, you ball out for these 2 years, your payday is going to be massive. He's still in his early to mid-20s. If you take this payday right now, $15 million, if you sign on the dotted line, and we run this thing back and we get after Mahomes, we could be something special, and then you're going to be in line for a massive contract. Instead of getting a bigger contract than you should have right now, underperforming and then not getting another massive contract. You stay home. 2 years, $30 million. Terrence Marshall Jr., I'm out. Alexander Madison, thanks, but no thanks. Trayvon Merrick is another priority signing. Again, the projections for this kid are all over the place. Here's what I do know. From 2021 to 2023, he was a full-time starter. Pretty healthy. Very good, considering we drafted him in the 2nd round in 2021, I believe. Trayvon Merrick, I'd give him 4 years, $50 million, $18 million guaranteed. That's $12.5 million per year with a $10 million per year raise. Again, no state income tax in Vegas. So hopefully these people that are offering him bigger contracts, him and Malcolm Kuntz, their agents will be able to tell them, hey, this is going to level out because you have to pay all these taxes in Green Bay, right? Or New York City. But Trayvon Merrick, I do believe, is worth at least a 4-year deal. I saw some people say 5 or 6 years. I don't know. That seems a little bit crazy, especially for a safety who was good, not great, but I think he could be great. 4 years, $50 million, $18 million guaranteed, $12.5 per year. Andrews Pete, no. Janaris Robinson, no. Robert Spillane is my last priority signing. I'd go 3 years because he's 29 years old. He's getting up there a little bit. 3 years, $30 million, $10 million guaranteed. That's a $3 million per year raise for Robert Spillane. I do think if you give him anything close to that, a little higher, a little lower, he's going to want to come back because the Raiders have been the team to embrace his skill set. He was great on the Steelers. He was better for us. He was our leading tackler, I believe. So those are my 3 priority re-signings. Malcolm Kuntz for 2 years, $30 million. Trayvon Merrick for 4 years, $50 million. And Robert Spillane for 3 years, $30 million. There's Cody Whitehair, too. I don't really want him to come back. I have question marks around Nate Hobbs, Divine Diablo, and Caleb Chason. If we can get them at discounted rates, I would bring them back. But those are big ifs. So after those 3 signings and the Maxx Crosby extension and putting money away for the rookies, we now have $45 to $50 million left to spend in free agency. And like I said, we're going to get to the quarterback in a second here. But I've targeted 3 potential free agents I think the Raiders should absolutely go after. One is, I guess, a bigger name than the other 2. But I do think these are areas of need or areas that we don't necessarily need to fill in free agency, but are going to have a chance to lure these guys to, again, build something along the offense and the defense. So the first person I want to talk about, and by the way, comment below your plans. Comment below what you're thinking of my plans. Get as specific and long as you want. Hot takes, cold takes. Make sure we're in that subscribe button. We're almost at 13,000, which is absolutely insane. Hit that subscribe button if you're new. Chris Godwin is 28 years old. It feels like he's been in the league for absolutely ever. But I would argue that he's still in the prime of his career, wide receiver-wise. Davante Adams was older than that when we traded for him for a first-round pick, for multiple firsts. Didn't turn out to be the best trade of all time, but Davante Adams is very good with us. Chris Godwin, 28 years old. I would give him a 3-year, $65 million deal, 21 per year, okay? If you're wondering where that puts him in terms of the wide receiver's annual average salary, he would be the 19th highest per year average earner wideout. 19th. Under Calvin Ridley and Stephon Diggs. I think we would all rather have Chris Godwin than Calvin Ridley and Stephon Diggs. And John Spytek has a connection to Chris Godwin. There is a world in which maybe he gets more money than this. But coming off an injury, the connection with Spytek and Tom Brady, I do think they'll be able to take Chris Godwin into Vegas, convince him to take this very good contract. Not a great contract, but very good. It would make him a top 20 receiver. And now you've got that number 1 option alongside Brock Bowers. Because remember, you do not need a Justin Jefferson to pair with Brock Bowers. Look, that would be extremely nice. But you just need a wide receiver a little bit better than Jacoby Myers, who is solid enough to win those one-on-one battles when you just got to throw it up to him. And Chris Godwin, he's fast, he's big, he's strong. I'm a Penn State guy, so I'm a little biased. But he is someone I would consider going after. I think T. Higgins is probably going to cost too much money if you want to re-sign a bunch of the homegrown guys that I said before. And DK Metcalf, is going to cost you a lot of trade capital. Or maybe not a lot, but a high draft pick, a 2 or a 3, or 2 and a 3. That's just going to be tough for me to execute considering what I have coming up here. Chris Godwin is the first wide receiver that I would sign, the first free agent that I would bring in. The second free agent is a linebacker from the San Francisco 49ers, Dre Greenlaw. He's 27 years old. I'd give him a 2-year, $13 million contract, 6.5 guaranteed. Here's a snippet about Dre Greenlaw. If you don't know much about him from the San Francisco 49ers, this is from Pro Football Focus, and I quote, Greenlaw worked his way back from an Achilles injury he suffered in the Super Bowl last February, but was shut down after only 34 snaps in 2024. He will still likely see a lot of interest in free agency. He excels in coverage, which is what we need. We need better coverage linebackers, having earned PFF coverage grades of 82.6 and 79.5 over the past 2 seasons. Another guy who, when healthy, is one of the better coverage linebackers in the league. I do think we should take advantage of these guys who have slight health concerns, although when they're on the field, they make a big-time impact. And now you have Robert Spillane, who's a tackling machine, next to Dre Greenlaw, again, a 27-year-old who's only going to cost you something around 2 years, $13 million, because he's coming off that injury, similarly to Malcolm Kuntz, a great player when he's on the field, but still needs to see a little bit more out of the kid. I think that's someone we should really consider to pair next to Robert Spillane. The last person here that I'm kind of going all in on, free agent-wise, and look, we're probably going to sign more than 3 people. There were guards that I looked at. There were corners that I looked at. But I'm talking about the important pieces here to plug and play, who we just saw absolutely kick the shit out of the Kansas City Chiefs. Milton Williams, defensive tackle, Philadelphia Eagles, 25 years of age. I'd give him 3 years, $35 million. Here's a snippet about Williams on Pro Football Focus. Williams is already a candidate for the biggest riser on the list, and his stock only improved down the home stretch. His 6 sacks in the regular season are a career best total. A rotational interior defender with serious pass rush juice is often the profile of a player who does very well in free agency, like Christian Wilkins, and Williams has limited tread on his tires. Given he's never eclipsed 50% of defensive snaps in a season despite playing at least 36% in every year since his debut. Leave it to the Eagles to get a new deal done, but if not, don't be surprised when Williams makes a major splash in March. I want you to picture this. Patrick Mahomes is sound asleep. His phone's buzzing. Oh no, the Raiders just signed one of the guys that absolutely ate me for breakfast in Super Bowl 59. And now you've got Milton Williams, a 25-year-old, Christian Wilkins, Malcolm Kuntz, maybe Caleb Chase behind him, Maxx Crosby. Now you send the dogs after him. I did suggest in other videos trading for Myles Garrett, and I would absolutely consider that. But I want to show you guys that I'm not a lunatic. I know that there's a cap. This isn't baseball. We got to find a way to sign guys that can produce at a high level, especially surrounded by other people like Wilkins and Maxx and Kuntz, without breaking the bank and building this thing for the future. So now you've got Wilkins for another 3 years. You've got Milton Williams for 3 years. You've extended Maxx Crosby, and now you've got Kuntz for 2. And now we're still building the thing with Patrick Graham, with Dre Greenlaw, Trayvon Merrick, Robert Spillane. We're pushing things forward here, but we're being smart about it. And I think the smartest thing you can do is to get a proven commodity at the quarterback position. And yes, we've arrived, folks. My plan for the quarterback spot. Now, look, I've been a proponent of Sam Darnold. The highest I would go with him is $35 million per year, and I would give him a fake third year or a fake fourth year where you can just kind of get out of the contract, like they did with Derek Carr. Wouldn't give him no trade clause. With all that being said, with the moves that I just made, we would not be able to afford Sam Darnold, right? Unless they heavily restructured a lot of guys, which maybe they could. You can't afford Sam Darnold with what I just laid out. I don't think Justin Fields is very good. I think Russell Wilson's toward the end of his career. I don't trust Daniel Jones. I don't trust a rookie to come in here and be able to win right away. Zach Wilson is interesting. He could be the next Sam Darnold, but that's a big risk. And Pete Carroll said we don't have time for a rebuild. We want to win right now. So let's talk about Matthew Stafford. Because the more days we inch closer to the new league year, there are more reports that are coming out of teams that are potentially inquiring about Matthew Stafford. We have the second best odds to acquire Matthew Stafford if he is not a Los Angeles Ram. It's us and the Giants. If he goes to the Giants, that would help us to get a quarterback in the draft too. The Matthew Stafford trade. Now, in the most realistic world, I think it's probably going to take a second-round pick. But here's the thing. Everyone's been saying, well, why would the Rams do this? Why would the Rams do this? Don't they want to compete? Blah, 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 blah. What's their succession plan? Well, they're getting rid of Cooper Kupp. Maybe Sean McVay and Les Snead see the writing on the wall. We maxed out with Stafford at his current age with this roster in place. Our offense is not as great, weapon or wise. We got Puka Nacua, and that's about it. And Kyron Williams is okay. He's pretty good. Our defense is young and up and coming. Maybe we should soft retool, rebuild this thing. And yes, it would be nice to get a first-round pick for Matthew Stafford, but I don't see that happening. And yes, it would be really nice and realistic to get a second-round pick. But where they're picking in the draft, they're not going to be able to really draft his successor or somebody that you can have as a bridge quarterback. Maybe they'll sign someone like a Sam Darnold or a Daniel Jones. Here's what I'm proposing to the nation and to the Rams. You want a bridge guy that you can maybe win some games with or lose a lot of games with and then be able to get maybe an Arch Manning? You can have one of our third-round picks and Aiden O'Connell. See what Sean McVay can do with Aiden O'Connell and Puka Nacua and Kyron Williams. As a Raider fan, you hate to see Aiden go, But if that's the reason why you don't have to give up a second or a first to get Matthew Stafford, you pair him with either our third or a Jets third, or you pair the Jets third and Aiden O'Connell and a sixth, and you send them to Los Angeles for Matthew Stafford. I don't know if the Rams would say yes to that. Maybe they wouldn't. But that's the deal that I would try to push on the Rams as hard as I could. A third and Aiden and maybe a sixth as well. If that doesn't work, if that's not possible, then maybe I would give their a second-round pick for Matthew Stafford and then take our 2/3 and try to trade back up into the first round or acquire a second-round pick for what I have going forward. Okay? But that's what I would do. I'm trading for Matthew Stafford. We're signing him to a 2-year extension. We're pushing all that guaranteed money toward the second year, but you're still going to have it all, Matthew Stafford. Don't you worry. With the 6th pick in the draft, there is one person that I would take, no doubt about it, over every single person if this person was there, and that would be Abdul Carter. I do not think he's going to be there, but I just wanted to say that out loud. He is my number one consensus top pick. If he's there, you have to take him. He won't be there. People that I wouldn't be mad about taking with the 6th pick. Mason Graham, I wouldn't hate. Shedeur Sanders, I wouldn't hate. McMillan out of Arizona State, I wouldn't hate. I'd be okay with that. I'd be happy about that. Wouldn't love the corner from Michigan just because Pete Carroll has been able to find guys like Richard Sherman later in the rounds. And I think he's going to be able to find playmaking defensive backs and safeties without having to use the first pick on them. I could be wrong. It is what it is. All that to say, I do think the idea of Ashton Jeanty being a Raider is starting to grow on me because these free agent running backs are not doing it for me. Aaron Jones is Najee Harris is okay. And maybe you could find a better running back, or not a better running back, a cheaper running back in one of the later rounds. A stronger running back in one of the later rounds. Bucky Irving is a small guy. 5'9", 5'10". Ashton Jeanty's what, 5'8", right? Ashton Jeanty with the 6th pick can be very similar to Brock Bowers with the 13th pick or the 12th pick or whatever we had. All of a sudden, the best offensive player in the draft falls right into your lap. You've traded for Matthew Stafford. You've got Brock Bowers and Chris Godwin. And now you've got Ashton Jeanty carrying the load offensively with the running back position. So like I said, I would take Abdul Carter if he's there. He's not going to be there. I wouldn't hate Mason Graham, Shedeur Sanders, or McMillan. I still don't know how to say his first name. Someone help me out. Give me the phonetics in the comments below. But Ashton Jeanty is my number one option. And yeah, and last year, what was my number one option? Brock Bowers. Haha. So, take that with whatever you want, a grain of salt, whatever. In round 2, if we have that pick, if we have to give it to Stafford, we trade back up. If we don't have to give it for Stafford, we still have it. I would take Jackson Dart if he's there. Jackson Dart is the perfect project to learn under Matthew Stafford for 2 seasons. I don't think you'd make Matthew Stafford mad because you took a running back to help him in the first round. You've got a bunch of good linemen on the roster already that are protecting him. You went out and got a Chris Godwin. You've already got Brock. He's not going to be upset. He understands. He's 37, turning 38. He's got 1 or 2 more great years left in his body. And he seems like the type of guy that would also mentor and usher the next generation of Raider quarterbacks into the future. And Jackson Dart feels most similar playstyle-wise to a Matthew Stafford. He's even a little more athletic, although Stafford was sneaky athletic when he was younger. And then in round 3, I'd go corner, whoever that is. I'm not going to pretend like I know what's going on in day 2 and day 3 of the draft. I could give you names, but at the end of the day, the first round is a crapshoot. So the second and third and fourth and fifth round where you make your money is even more of a crapshoot. So I'd go Ashton Jeanty with the 6th pick in the second round, or if you have to trade back into the late first, I'd go Jackson Dart, and then in round 3, I'd go corner. So let's talk about what I just built with the offense and the defense. The offensive roster now moving forward is Matthew Stafford at quarterback with Jackson Dart learning under his wing. The running back room, as of right now, you're going to have to add a veteran. Maybe you draft another rookie. As of right now, is Ashton Jeanty with Sincere McCormick. I went to Zamir White. Sincere McCormick. The wide receiver room, Chris Godwin, Jacoby Myers, Trey Tucker. Tight ends 1 and 2, Brock Bowers, Michael Mayer. The offensive line, On the tackles, you've got Miller and Glaze. In the center, you got JPJ. And then the 2 guards are up for debate. If you want to go rookie, if you want to go veteran, if you want to try to bring back a Whitehair, do whatever you got to do to make sure those guys are competent. I looked at Will Fries, free agency-wise, but he bars, by the way, but didn't love giving a guard that much money. Defense, Kuntz, Milton Williams, Christian Wilkins, Maxx Crosby. Linebackers are Spillane and Greenlaw. Question mark around Divine Diablo. If he can stay, hometown discount, I would keep him. If not, see you later. Cornerbacks, I'd go Jacorian Bennett. Question mark around Nate Hobbs. Rookie corner. I do believe in Pete Carroll and Patrick Graham's ability to cook up a third-round rookie corner that can come in and play. And then safeties are Trayvon Merrick and Isaiah Polamalu. That's a top 10 defense, no doubt about it, especially with Patrick and Pete Carroll there. This offense, if Chip Kelly can call the right plays, Stafford, Genty, Godwin, Jacoby, Trey Tucker, Brock Bowers, Michael Mayer, and a decent offensive line that is growing. I do think that could be the blueprint to getting from 4 wins to, at the very minimum, 9. I know it's a tough division, but we play the division tough. We're competitive in these games, even if we lose them. We have a last-place schedule. We have some games that, on paper, should be a little easier next year. And then maybe that second Stafford year where you add a couple more free agents and people are continuing to get better. Brock Bowers is still not in his prime yet. That second year, maybe you compete for a division. And then after that, hopefully, Jackson Dart is ready to take the next step. Now, Jackson Dart, you can take him out and put Jalen Milroe in there or Dylan Gabriel or Will Howard or Quinn Ewers. I just took someone that I felt most similar fits Matthew Stafford's play style. If that isn't Will Howard, or if it isn't Jackson Dart, maybe it's Will Howard. Or if it's just Jalen Milroe to learn other Stafford so you can learn how to be a pocket passer, I'm cool with that too. But Jackson Dart is the plug-and-play guy that I picked there. That is my off-season plan, but this video's not done. Because now we need to read a couple of my patrons' plans for the off-season. And like I said, if you want to be involved in stuff like this, link in the description below, patreon.com/ALLaBorde Raiders. You can join and then cancel whenever you want. It's just like a YouTube membership. The difference is YouTube memberships takes 30% from me. Patreon takes like 5%. That's why I use Patreon instead. It's completely safe. Also, I said subscribe before, hit that like button, comment away. The Discord link is in the description below. That's free. It's just a big group chat. We're talking about stuff like this all the time. Okay, Mario, one of my beloved patrons, doesn't get too specific, but that's okay. He said, I'd have a very simple plan if I were calling the shots. Keep Crosby. Trade for Garrett. Maybe Aiden O'Connell could be useful there. Interesting. So he's thinking about trading Aiden as well. Get Stafford or Darnold as a last resort. Get Stafford and then parentheses or Darnold as a last resort. Then draft best player available. I don't hate it, Mario. I didn't end up trading for Myles Garrett because I wanted money to use elsewhere. But if we did that, I would not hate it. We'd probably have the best defensive line in the league that wasn't the Philadelphia Eagles. Thank you, Mario, for that contribution. Donuts Duncan, a staple here. He absolutely went off. He's honestly more specific than I even was. I'm going to read this word for word and break down everything he said here. Raiders cap space. Assuming the 2025 NFL cap is at $272.5, the Raiders will have $92,526,914 available cap space. Restructure Crosby's contract to $41.076 million, split evenly between 2025 and 2026, and guarantee $30 million. That saves us around $2 million. He goes specifically $1.698 million in cap space this season. We're thinking about the same thing there. Extend him, restructure it, push the guarantee, save some money this season. We're right there. Players to re-sign. Robert Spillane, 3 years, $28.5 million, $9.5 per year. That is very close to what I said. Trayvon Merrick, 6 years, $108 million. I need some quick math on that. Hold on. 108 divided by 6. That's 18 a year. Oh, wait, I think you say that. You do. Sorry. $18 million a year. What did I give Trayvon Merrick? I forget already. I gave him 4 years, $50 million. Where is Trayvon Merrick? 4 years, $50 million. Okay, so you're giving him a lot more per year than I am, but I'm giving him more guaranteed money. Well, you don't say anything about guaranteed money. Look, that to me is a little crazy, but someone might bid for that. Like, I totally understand it. Then you want to extend Isaiah Polamalu. I know he's a restricted free agent. I wouldn't extend him right away, but you say 3 years, $18 million, 6 per year. I wouldn't hate that. And then you say, I would prefer to sign both Kuntz and Caleb onto one-year prove-it deals, but that seems unlikely. I'd bite the bullet and try to sign Caleb Chase into a one-year prove-it deal before negotiating a deal with Kuntz. Caleb Chase on 1 year, $6 million. Malcolm Kuntz 3 years, $30 million, $10 million a year. That's pretty similar to what I would do. You then go on to say, use the exclusive rights on all available players, paying them league minimum for one more season. Those players like Matthew Butler, Kanai Mungai, Jordan Meredith, Charles Snowden, Sam Webb. This would cost us $1 million per player, $5 million total. The remaining cap space is around $40 million used toward free agents and rookies. He says rookies. Oops, I just completely X'd out of this. He said rookies, I'm projecting $15.21 for 2025, leaving around $25 million in free agency. Which is the better choice at this point? Signing one big free agent, or finding other guys to prove it deals? If we go for one big free agent, I would recommend Will Fries. I thought about Will Fries. It's just a lot of money for a guard, or Tevin Jenkins. Both are guards coming off their rookie contracts with injury histories. Due to their injury history, they will be looking at contracts of around 4 years, $74 million, $18.5 million a season. I consider putting Will Fries in there, but I switched him out the last second for Milton Williams. I went defensive line, you went offensive line, but same idea. With about $6.2 million left, we might be able to snag the steal of the century in an injured Paulson Adebo. Adebo is a good cornerback with the Saints. He was going to take over the Saints cornerback one after they traded away Lattimore. With his injury and age, I believe he'll probably get a one-year prove-it deal around $60 million. I do believe we're going to bring in some sort of veteran cornerback moving forward. For the draft, I'd prefer the Raiders to stay at 6 and draft BPA, the best player available. I'm also not going to predict a trade. All right, no trades. At 6, you go Mason Graham or McMillan. Wouldn't be mad about either of those. At 37, you go Jalen Milroe, Siobhan Revel, Jihad Campbell, or Tyler Booker. At 68, you go Darian Porter. You say it's very unlikely. Samal Williams or Jaden Higgins. 73, you go Tate Radledge, excuse me. 107, you go Devin Neal or Will Howard. 144, you go Damian Martinez or Harquez Hunter. At 182, you go Tyler Cooper or Curtis Rourke. There's a quarterback there, too. We already talked about Will Howard. 214, you go Ricky White. 218, you go Kyron Lacey. 224, you go Timothy McKay. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't even know who most of those people are, but God bless you for being as specific as you were. I love that. We share a lot of the same ideology there. And what I will say is if they want to go Will Howard in the 3rd or 4th round instead of Jackson Dart in the 2nd or 3rd round, I'm okay with that as well. I do like a lot of the things you said, bringing back some homegrown guys. We had similar deals for Spillane and Kuntz. Trayvon Merritt, that's a little too much for me, to be completely honest with you, but he's a great player. He's a good player. I don't know if he's got great in him. But look, that's my off-season plan. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for the patrons who contributed to that. Like I said, link in the description below if you want to join that. That'd be amazing. Thank you so much. I think we're at 26 members now, so if we can get to 30, that'd be awesome. We're about, 2 weeks away? Not even. From the new league year starting to ramp up. More rumors are coming out. Leave your comments about what you thought about my plan moving forward. I think it's pretty solid. I didn't get too hyperbolic, did I? Maybe the Stafford trade is a little crazy, but I don't know. It depends on how they view Aiden O'Connell. What are they going to do with quarterback? He's a cheap guy who can win you some games or can get you to Arch Manning, depending on what you want to do. Please be sure to subscribe. It is free after, no charge to you. I love you guys, and I will see you next time.